A couple of voices have caught my ear recently, and for completely different reasons. First, Tucker Carlson, who has a new show on Fox that from what I've seen is quite good, especially compared to the rest of the crap on cable news. And it's good not just because of Tucker, who I find to be a strong but respectful voice of reason, but also because of the guests he hosts. The show is no echo chamber. It's only been on for a couple of weeks, but we've already seen Tucker challenge those who really need it, like this DePaul University professor.
Is there really a debate? Do you know a single DePaul University professor who voted for Trump and said so out loud? Do you know one?
You know what? I do not talk about my personal political leanings with my colleagues.
You know as well as I that there isn't any.
I don't think that you have any evidence to support that claim, and that's actually not the right question. The right question is the role of the university.
Or this apologist for Islamic violence.
When there are extremists that perpetrate a bombing at an abortion clinic in the name of Christianity.
I'm sorry, I can't take that seriously. The scale is just not proportionate or comparable at all.
I would disagree with you.
Or this business owner who says no Trump supporters welcome.
That is legal, but do you think it's okay? I mean, as a principle, do you think it's okay for people to refuse to do business with others they disagree with? You think that's all right?
Absolutely. And I think that you sidestepped my question when I asked if you would have done business with Nazi Party members in the 40s.
And I'm not the only one appreciating it. Since its debut, Tucker's show is crushing the competition in the ratings. The other voice I've heard recently is in the form of plainly insane tweets, getting a lot of responses in my timeline. Tweets from Tariq Nasheed, who as far as I can tell is the racial equivalent of an arsonist firefighter. He creates problems everywhere so he can make a career claiming to solve them as a, quote, anti-racism strategist. You may have seen these gems circulating. His claim that Trump's victory is due to the millions, yes, millions of white supremacists in this country. Someone replies with a Daily Caller article about the need to stop calling everyone racist, and Tariq says the Daily Caller is a white supremacist publication, even though this is the author of the linked article. His claim that only white Cubans dislike Castro, and his challenge to explain what Fidel did that's worse than America's treatment of black people right now. To which one reply asks, have you been put in jail for disagreeing with the government? And Tariq says he lives under Nazi occupation right now. And somehow it actually gets worse. In response to the Ohio State University attack this week, in which an Islamic Somali immigrant student targeted bystanders with a car and a knife before being shot dead by a campus police officer, Tariq said, so white officer Alan Harushko, who shot and killed the black Somali stabbing suspect in Ohio, is being paraded as a hero. That's interesting. I'm sure Thanksgiving with this guy descends to a race debate about white meat and dark meat. What can be racialized will be racialized. But it's that last tweet, the one about Ohio State, that brought these two voices together. When I heard that Tariq was booked for Tucker's show to talk about it, I cleared my schedule, I microwaved my popcorn, and I reclined my seat. And as you'd expect, the show did not disappoint.
So white officer Alan Harucho shot and killed the black Somali stabbing suspect in Ohio and is being paraded as a hero. That's interesting. This struck me when I read it as a pretty cowardly thing for you to say for a bunch of reasons.
What's cowardly is to make up a false narrative that I didn't say or even imply by saying that I was not impressed or I was dissatisfied with the police's work. That tweet was very vague. It was very neutral. It was basically a statement. It wasn't even my opinion. I didn't think that the guy was wrong for what he did. The guy was a hero. The comment wasn't meant to racialize the actual shooting and the event itself. Online, there were a lot of people who played the race card, and the minute they found out who the suspect was, they kept talking about black Somalian, then they started talking about Black Lives Matter, then they started talking about Obama, then they racialized it.
So the purpose of Tariq's tweet is to note the interest he finds in the race of the attacker and the race of the police officer. But that comment isn't meant to racialize the incident. Tariq, you're a f***ing dip. But whoa, hey, that's just a statement, okay? Not even my opinion. Certainly wasn't meant to comment on your intelligence.
You sent a series of tweets here noting the race and the nationality of the terrorist, and you also put quotes around the word terrorist. Why did you put quotes around it?
I didn't say that the man wasn't a terrorist. Tucker, are you going to say anything honest before we get the interview started, or it's just going to be a bunch of projection of your suspected white supremacist views?
There are several layers of stupid to consider here. First, his term suspected white supremacist. Suspected thought criminal. Suspected of having ideas I don't like and therefore dismissible entirely. If you're suspected of having one bad idea, any other idea you offer must also be bad too. It's just a cheaply disguised ad hominem. It's an attack on the person rather than the reasoning. Also consider Tariq just got done explaining why it's wrong to racialize this incident, after which he proceeds immediately to racialize this interview by tossing in an unsubstantiated racial accusation. But the cherry on top of this incoherent sundae? Tariq then lectures Tucker about the importance of waiting for the facts.
I didn't know if the guy was a terrorist or not. I didn't know if he was a suspect. I didn't know if that was the only suspect. So I didn't have all the facts. I wanted to wait for all the facts to come in before I label people, which is what you should do.
I wanted to wait for all the facts to come in before I label people, which is what you should do, you suspected white supremacists. Wait for the facts. Unless you're throwing a racial accusation at someone, because that's just self-evidently true. After all, just look at Tucker's skin color, you damn racist.
Now, you make the claim repeatedly in your writings and on your show that this is a, quote, white supremacist country.
So we don't live in a system of complete white supremacy? Everybody's lying, Tucker?
You telling me there's no Bigfoot out in the woods out there? You telling me there aren't aliens flying around in the night sky? You telling me these guys are lying, Tucker? Really?
Huh. So the overwhelming majority of immigrants to this country are non-white.
Yeah, that's what I thought, Tucker.
Why would a white supremacist country import massive numbers of non-white immigrants? Not to blow your mind,
when you say non-white,
Tariq,
I mean, there's Hispanic people who you say are non-white, but they're labeled as white. There are a lot of people who are classified as white that you say are non-white. So you play this racialized game. So who's non-white and who's white?
So to be clear, Tariq is saying this country allows Hispanics to immigrate here because Hispanics are technically classified as white, and we are white supremacists. But the president-elect and the American people want to build a wall to stop illegal immigration, presumably also because we are white supremacists.
I guess the point I'm making is that it's not 1955. It's a totally different country from the one you seem to be addressing on Twitter and in your podcast. Then answer this.
How is it different, sir?
How is it different from 1955? Since then, we've desegregated the schools, we've done away with Jim Crow, we've legalized interracial marriage, and we've elected a magical black president who somehow cleared the hurdles of our white supremacist country by convincing all the racists to vote for him anyway. In 1955, race activism was a risk. In the present day, it's how Tariq earns a comfortable living.
When you tweet out that this is a story of a white man killing a black man, that is misleading. That's not at all what happened. There was no racial motive that we know of here, and you're implying there was.
I didn't say there was a racial motive.
Your financial. Well, of course you did. You said the white officer shot a black Somali suspect.
Tucker. This is Fox News. You guys are the race casino. Forget about the race card. You play the race casino.
Okay, let's follow Tariq's logic here. In response to an accusation of playing the race card, Tariq says Fox News is a race casino, by which I assume he means a place with a lot of race cards. But it's a metaphor that doesn't really work. When I hear race casino, I think gambling based on race. Ooh, white guy. White guy. Come on, come on.
Yes! Jackpot! Oh, look at all that privilege!
So fine, Tariq, you can say race casino, but we get to call your bluff. What exactly do you mean when you use that term? Fox News is a race casino, and a race casino is Fox News. The logic spins, just like that slot machine.
They didn't see the race of the terrorist or the race of the cop. They saw an American stopping a lunatic from murdering more people on a college campus.
So why did your white supremacist colleagues make it racial? So why did they make it racial?
I don't know one person on any network who looked at this and said, here you have a white man killing a black man. They said, here you have a police officer, representative of
they said black Somalian,
stopping a mass
Black
murder
Lives
from
Matter.
continuing.
So was it Black Lives Matter fault? You guys always seem to blame Black Lives Matter, and Black Lives Matter is any black person you choose to make Black Lives Matter. So
right, okay. I'm missing the thread of your argument, but I think you've made your
You're not
point.
missing it.
Yeah,
you got it.
I'm not.
You're a smart guy. Suspected white supremacists are very smart, so you got it.
Right.
Follow Tariq's logic. It's wrong to assign a person to a group based on race, so don't automatically assign a black person to Black Lives Matter.
Even though nobody did.
And to show us why that's wrong, he assigns white people automatically to white supremacism. If you use Black Lives Matter as a universal scapegoat, you're a bigot. If you use white supremacism as a universal scapegoat, you're an advocate for justice. And if that sounds like a double standard to you, just think harder. You're a white supremacist, you're smart, you'll figure it out. And amazingly, there was still more delusion and doublethink after the segment. People are wondering why so many mad racist Fox News viewers are trolling my page after my appearance. That's because there are no sore winners. The delusion of thinking he performed well aside, Tariq says there are no sore winners, believing he won and being sore in the process by calling everyone racist. There are no sore winners, especially not me, the guy who wins and then talks crap about everyone. I thought the reference to 1955 in this segment was pretty interesting because coincidentally, it was this week in 1955 that Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a Montgomery bus. That was a protest of real, systemic, institutionalized, codified racism. The law at the time required Miss Parks to sit in a racially designated and segregated area. And Tariq even gets this backwards, saying 1955 Rosa Parks had to deal with white supremacist bus drivers. In 2016, we have to deal with a white supremacist president. Hashtag race casino. Take a minute and appreciate how backward that is. Tariq looks at 1955 and says, oh, the problem wasn't the system. It wasn't the law. It was just a few individuals, those damn bus drivers. And Tariq looks at today and says, oh, the problem's not just a few individuals. It's actually the whole system. He somehow thinks society has gone backwards on these race issues, yet he is oblivious to his own role in pushing us that way. I haven't had my mind bent this crookedly in some time. This was something special, even in a year with plenty of displays of insane incoherence to consider. I award this debate 5 chanks out of 5, and I think we may have a new regressive champion.
All right, that's okay. I mean, look, I thought we were having a rational conversation.
The only thing that can top this is if these two combine forces. A rational conversation between Cenk and Tariq about the race casino. That's what I want to see next. Fingers crossed. Thanks as always for listening and for supporting this channel. Always appreciate that thoughtful discussion down below and especially over on Twitter. That is at MattC on YT. You're always welcome to come hang out and chat in my live streams. Those are linked down in the description. Looking forward to it. Okay, bye.